Hi, my name is Lisa Cummins. I'm coming to you this evening to talk to you about the new bill that was presented to Congress yesterday evening. It is now entitled Every Student Succeeds Act. It is the former No Child Left Behind bill, also known as the Elementary Secondary Education Act. Senator Lamar Alexander pushed it forward to revise what everybody has hated as from the No Child Left Behind. And the culmination of the House bill and the Senate bill coming together is what you're seeing today in the news feeds. In this 1,100-page bill lists several intrusions, an expanding of government, an intrusion on parental authority, an intrusion on privacies, an expansion of data gathering, an expansion of psychology building structure that applies to behavioral and social sciences regarding your students. These are all embedded into the bill. One of the claims by the Washington Post today came out and said that this allows for more local control. Let me assure you that it's a complete fallacy. On page 919 in section 4, Educational Flexibility Program, it talks about it says, in general, the Secretary may carry out an educational flexibility program under which the Secretary authorizes a state educational agency that serves an eligible state to waive statutory or regulatory requirements applicable to one or more programs designed in subsection B, other than requirements described in subsection C for any local education agency, educational service agency, or school within the state. It goes on to say that for the purpose of this section, the term eligible state means a state that developed and implemented the challenging state academic standards. This is referring to the Common Core standards. And aligned assessments, so those like SAGE and PARCC and SBAC, described in paragraphs 1 and 2 of section 1111B. Of course, the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965 and is producing the report cards required by section 11111H of such act. So quite clearly, this is coming from the federal government, which they have admitted in prior reports of implementing and pushing Common Core onto states. This act, this now Every Student Succeeds Act, solidifies that the states are to talk directly to the federal government in any applicable way that in regards to Common Core and the state standardized testing that happens in our states. Going on, if the state has adopted new challenging state academic standards under section 1111B1 of the Education and Secondary Education Act of 1965 as a result of the amendments made to such act by the Every Student Succeeds Act, made substantial progress as determined by the Secretary, the Secretary of Education, toward developing and implementing such standards and toward producing report cards required under Section B. B will hold local education agencies, educational service agencies, and schools accountable for meeting the educational goals described in the local applications, and for engaging in technical assistance and, as applicable, appropriate implementing comprehensive support and improvement activities, targeted support and improvement activities under Section 1111D of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 65. And C, waives state statutory, and this is important, waives state statutory and regulatory requirements regulating to education while holding local education agencies, education service agencies, or schools within the state that are affected by such waivers accountable for the performance of the students who are affected by such waivers. Each state educational agency desiring to participate in the Educational Flexibility Program under this section shall submit an application to the Secretary at such time, in such manner, and containing such information as the Secretary may reasonably require. Are we handing over our agency, our sovereignty to the government? Are we allowing our children to become servants of the government? Are we allowing our children to become the slaves of corporate cronyism and the government? We have got to stop this, not only because of what is in it, but because of the slick, slide by the seat of your pants type maneuvering of presenting this bill that you have to pass it in order to read it, Obamacare style, that has been done with Congress. Are we allowing Congress to no longer do their job? Because quite frankly, they have given up. They haven't kept to their congressional or constitutional oaths. They have handed over everything that President Obama has required and asked of them without a fight on a silver platter. Speaker Ryan is not a conservative. To allow this vote to come to the House floor in such a slick manner, fast, unread, undebated, is a downright outrage to the American people and a slap in the face of liberty. I ask you that you please jam the phone lines to the congressional switchboard. 202-224-3121. Again, that number is 202-224-3121. Merry Christmas.